Novel Billionaire God of War audiobook. Chapter 6. The conditions will be different. Lin Feng was furious. But he dared not hit back. His hand was broken by Jiang Ning. This madman. He didn't want to provoke some crazy guy. Lin Qiang frowned. He didn't think that the husband he had found for Lin Yuzhen was really cracked in the head, and dared to hit Lin Feng right in front of him. I haven't settled the previous matter with you. Lin Qiang narrowed his eyes, like he was looking down from above. But in that moment when he looked into Jiang Ning's eyes, he felt like he had fallen thousands of feet into a deep ravine. His legs couldn't help but tremble a little. It was as if he was looking at a terrifying wild animal waiting to eat him with one bite. What a scary look. Settling with me. Jiang Ning continued calmly. Looks like you guys aren't here to ask Yuzhen back to the company. You're here to make a scene. Lin Qiang immediately calmed himself down after hearing this and suppressed the anger rising in his heart. He wasn't going to disrupt what he had to do because of a lunatic. After they got this contract signed, he'd take care of these people. Humph. Yuzhen. Lin Group needs you. Come back. He looked at Lin Yuzhen, and there wasn't a single bit of sincerity in his voice. Lin Yuzhen didn't know what to do. Even Sumei was stunned. She had never thought that the day would come when Lin Qiang would come personally to invite Lin Yuzhen to work. But their attitude earlier was simply too infuriating. You don't seem to get it, huh? Lin Yuzhen didn't know how to respond. So Jiang Ning spoke up for her. I will remind you one last time. When you ask for a favor, you have to be humble. If your attitude isn't good enough today and you have to come back tomorrow, my conditions won't remain the same. Lin Qiang's expression finally changed. His eyelid twitched as he looked coldly at Jiang Ning. You think we can't get this project signed without Lin Yuzhen? If you don't believe me, go ahead and try. Jiang Ning was as calm as before. So calm that Sumei and Lin Yuzhen were stunned as they watched him. Was this really the homeless son-in-law that just married into the family? Lin Yuzhen, my dad is giving you a chance. You'd better cherish it. Lin Feng angrily said. Lin Yuzhen puffed her chest out and said with determination, I don't care for it. Very good. Very good. Lin Qiang said this as he looked at the three people in front of him with a fake smile on his face. He looked towards the inside of the house and shouted, Lin Wen, you've done a good job as the head of this family. With that, he snorted and left with Lin Feng. The door of the room only opened at this point. Lin Wen rolled his wheelchair out, his face all pale. He didn't dare to come out as long as Lin Qiang was in the house. Is my brother angry? Lin Wen asked timidly. What are we going to do? Sumei looked at him and was filled with rage. Where was he when his daughter was being bullied? And now even better still, he was asking them what to do. It's just a job. I don't care for it. Lin Yuzhen looked at her parents. Dad, Mom, don't worry. I can earn enough to take care of you. Sumei looked at her daughter, her heart aching. The responsibility of taking care of the household had fallen on her shoulders. She had to take care of Lin Wen, and even if she wanted to help Lin Yuzhen out, there was nothing much she could do. There's still me. Jiang Ning spoke up. I'll take care of both of you too. Lin Wen and Sumei turned to look at Jiang Ning. Jiang Ning had slapped Lin Feng earlier because he had insulted Sumei, and Sumei had taken note of that. Even though she didn't really like Jiang Ning, she couldn't really say anything now. I'll go cook. Sumei turned and went into the kitchen. Lin Wen didn't know what to say either, so he just went back into his room and closed the door. Lin Yuzhen dragged Jiang Ning back into her room, still stunned by what happened. What did you just say? I said, I'll take care of Mom and Dad with you. What? Lin Yuzhen stared in shock at Jiang Ning. She was still unable to accept Jiang Ning as her husband. She was even thinking when she could make it clear to Jiang Ning that it was impossible for them to be together. It wasn't just Jiang Ning's background. He was older than her by 10 whole years. Uncle. Lin Yuzhen hesitated. You get ready and prepare yourself to sign that contract anytime now. When she heard Jiang Ning's words, Lin Yuzhen suddenly forgot what she meant to say. Uncle Jiang will really look for me again. She was the only one who had followed the project with CEO Huang through. But all the details had already been agreed on and they were only left with the formality of signing the contract. Anybody could go and get it signed, so it didn't have to be her, right? Besides, Lin Qiang and his son had so many connections in Donghai. It was easy for them to find someone to connect them to CEO Huang. Yup, it has to be you. Jiang Ning said this very simply. Lin Qiang and his son reached home. Bam! Lin Feng immediately smashed all the cups on the table. What the hell is this? He roared angrily. Dad, why did you stop me? I am going to kill that lunatic. He had been slapped twice in a row by Jiang Ning. If word of this got out, how was he going to hold his head high in Donghai? Others would laugh at him for actually being hit by a lunatic. Don't provoke these mentally ill people. It is not considered a crime even if they commit murder. Lin Qiang snorted. He never thought that in choosing the most useless man to be Lin Yuzhen's husband, he had chosen a nut job. He didn't want to provoke such people unless he really had to. But then why was Jiang Ning's gaze so terrifying? Even though he had been in business for so many years, even he felt terror when he saw it. But Jiang Ning was nuts. So it was probably normal for him to feel fearful of Jiang Ning. Dad, so how now? That slut, Lin Yuzhen, still wants us to beg her humbly. She can dream on. He didn't believe they couldn't get this project signed without Lin Yuzhen. Lin Qiang narrowed his eyes, then made a few phone calls. I'll have to trouble you then. Treat you to dinner someday. He found someone who knew CEO Huang to help bridge this connection. All the details of the project were more or less settled, and signing the contract was merely a formality. He didn't believe that CEO Huang was willing to sacrifice so much benefit for a lowly woman. Relax. CEO Li works with CEO Huang often, so it shouldn't be a problem with his help. There was a price to pay for using this connection. But it was better than having to beg Lin Yuzhen. Lin Feng was relieved after hearing this. Dad, once this project is good to go, I want to throw Lin Yuzhen and family out of Donghai. A wicked idea flashed in Lin Feng's eyes. If she weren't considered like a sister to me, I even wanted to. Lin Feng, don't go too far. If your grandfather finds out, you're dead meat. Lin Feng instantly calmed down. He had only thought about it. Lin Yuzhen was pretty, but there wasn't any woman he couldn't have. The both of them were talking when Lin Qiang's phone started ringing. He picked up the phone and saw it was CEO Li. Looks like this matter was settled already. CEO Li, how was it? This matter is a piece of cake to you. Lin Qiang, how are you still so relaxed? You've offended CEO Huang and you sent me to take the brunt of his anger. Now my project with him has fallen through. Damn you. Bloody hell. You set a trap for me on purpose. I'll remember this for life. After CEO Li finished his tirade, he hung up immediately. Lin Qiang froze over. What did that mean? Even CEO Li putting in good words for him didn't work. He even ruined CEO Li's project. What did CEO Huang mean by all of this? Dad, do we really have to beg Lin Yuzhen? Lin Feng swallowed hard. Welcome to download the Bravonovel app to read the novel Billionaire God of War online and get the latest updates.